Not about giving up, Joe.
I got you what you wanted.
Yeah. That's what makes you a good investigator. I'm going into town.
You lift?
No, I don't have time.
Is he expecting you?
I'm the last person he wants to see.
Mackenzie, you can't just bust in here.
They're executing Henry Dassey in 58 minutes. You have an open line to the prison, Governor?
Save it, Bill. I just told Mr. Moore I have no reason to pardon his client.
Well, I do. Take a look at that. Mr. Moore is not here to plead for his client. He's here to make sure he gets hung.
What the hell are you talking about, Mackenzie?
While you've been pretending to defend Henry Dassey for murder, you've been working for the Landex Development Company, the thieves who've been trying to steal Navajo land.
Now, wait a damn minute.
The jury convicted Dassey.
On the testimony of a perjured witness who was paid off by Mr. Moore.
I don't have to listen to
The
this.
hell you don't. That's a sworn affidavit from the witness you bribed.
How did you get this affidavit?
I sat the man down and we reasoned together.
He coerced him. When Mackenzie was a prosecutor, he once made a man confess by threatening to shoot his dog.
Oh, Tom, pick up the phone. That affidavit's enough to get us 2 trials. A second for Henry Dassey and a first for Mr. Moore.
Marjorie, give me the warden. He wasn't your client. You didn't have to do this.
Well, you know me. I can't stay out of trouble. Y'all not spread those lies about me, Mr. Moore. It'll get me a reputation. Mackenzie. Oh, Perry, how are you? Well, what kind of favor? Oh, Perry, I wouldn't mind stepping in for you on a case while you're in Washington, but giving a speech at some fancy hotel, that's not what I do. Besides, I got a lot of work around here. I'm in the same fix as Hercules. Remember him? Yeah. Oh, that stud horse you send out here is working out fine. I got 2 foals coming pretty soon now. Yeah, I'm much obliged for that research you sent me. Saved me a lot of... Okay, Perry, you can quit twisting my arm. I'll do it. 1 night, 1 speech, and I'm right back home. Is that it? All right. Nice talking to you. Yeah. Lassoed me.
The majestic beauty of the Santa Monica Mountains above Malibu, playground of the stars, and site of the world's newest luxury hotel, the magnificent Norwich. Soon to be a magnet for the international jet set. This symbol to the chess world's grand masters, the rush of winning a championship on this board is equal to the elation that follows a great victory battle. And with me now is that enfant terrible turned mega star of the chess world, Daniel Kingman.
Forget it, I'm not going to do this.
Shut it off.
Choice. Don't talk to my crew.
Shut it off.
Don't talk to
I don't
my crew.
need this.
You sit right down there. You're being paid a lot of money to do this.
Hey,
You and you
I'm not doing it. I've had it.
Hi there. You got a Mackenzie? There I am, right there.
I am not here. I'm not doing
You
this
sit
anymore.
right down. Nobody's ever behaved like this on
You
television
like this
before.
review? Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Right there now.
Shut the damn thing off.
Ah, Mr. Kingman, there's a message for you.
Thank you.
I see you recognize the King's Gambit opening.
I knew it had to be you, Bill.
Hey,
How are you? Good to see you.
Well, it's, when I come in this morning, I saw you arguing with that Adrian Lai character. What was that all about?
Nothing really. He thought he needed more film. I thought he had enough.
Well, I was kind of surprised you mixed up with him. Didn't seem like your kind of television show.
I'm just getting a little publicity.
Nothing wrong with that.
Trouble already.
My game's rusty.
Oh, right. You taught me practically everything I know. Now, when you first saw me in juvenile court, what made you give me a chessboard?
Well, I knew you were smart. You're always figuring, always angling. If I do this, then the cops will do that. You sounded like a chess player to me. Besides, I needed someone to play with.
You still raising horses?
Appaloosas. Little hell on the side.
So you're here on vacation?
Oh, business. Tomorrow, I'm back to the ranch.
Then I'd like to take you to dinner tonight.
Well, I wish I could, but tonight, I gotta make a speech. How about breakfast tomorrow?
Breakfast it is.
Well, it's my move. We all know that most folks in this country look on lawyers as scoundrels. Just one cut below thieves. Well, why would that be? Well, maybe it's because we've been caught. Not all, but most. Judging the merit of our cases by the fees we can get instead of what's right and wrong. Looking for loopholes instead of justice. The men who wrote our Constitution put their lives on the line to do it, not to create a piece of paper, but a way of life which guarantees freedom and justice for all. But without respect for the law, there is no freedom. Countries without respect for the law can and do drag their citizens out in the night and shoot them. If we lawyers are so busy money grabbing that we forget our first duty is to uphold the law, then we're the ones who ought to be drug out and shot. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Now I know why they call you Wild Bill McKenzie.
Bill, you were as charming as ever.
Oh, go on. I'm mean and cranky, and you know it, Della. Hey, let's go on and see the fireworks.
Oh,
what do you say?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I don't see Daniel, and I don't see Adrian Lai. Wow, you wouldn't think Adrian would miss the fireworks, would you?
Can I get you anything else, sir?
Not at the moment. I'll call room service if I want something. Excellent.
Very good, sir.
Pretty lousy view from there, huh?
Yeah. Who are you, sir?
Hotel security. Hired for the weekend.
Oh.
You the only one here?
Yeah. Other ones are out there watching the fireworks.
You want to join them? I can watch things for you.
Nah, I couldn't. I'm supposed to stay here.
You bring your buddies this. I don't think anybody'd care.
Hey, you mean that?
All the guests are out there watching the show. Go ahead. I'll come get you if anybody calls.
Hey, thanks.
Don't mention it.
Hello?
Mr. Lai would like to meet with you privately at 10 o'clock.
This is the last time.
Daniel Kingman zapłacił polskiemu kampionowi Stefanowi.
Who is it?
Room service.
I didn't order anything.
Compliments to the management, sir.
No, just put it over there.
Say, hey, aren't you that guy on television? The one with the one with all the celebrities? Could I, like, get
Get an autograph photo?
how'd you guess?
ESP. I'll be right back. So who do I make it out?
Teresa would be fine.
Here you go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lai.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your stay.
Excuse me, which room's Adrian Lies?
That one, sir.
Who is it now?
Daniel Kingman.
My. What do I owe this honor?
You want to talk or not?
Champagne?
No, alcohol dulls the senses.
The very point, isn't it? Well, if you want to get right down to business, so be it. I was just watching some tape that I think that you'll find very interesting. Take a seat, Daniel.
I prefer to stand.
I think you're going to want to sit.
I'm not doing it!
Yes, you are.
I hope you rot in hell, Lai.
If anyone else comes calling, I've turned in.
Very good, sir.
Mr. Lai? Mr. Lai? Mr. Lai, are you all right?
That's a check. What's eating you, Daniel? Huh? What's wrong?
I'd rather not say. Oh, look, Bill, I am sorry. I'm just not myself this morning.
Well, let's take a walk, get our heads clear.
I don't think so, gentlemen. Lieutenant Brock, police. You're Wild Bill McKenzie.
Yeah, that's right. Is there a problem, Lieutenant?
Oh, I'd say so. Adrian Lai was found dead at his hotel suite last night.
Adrian is dead?
Adrian dead. And again last night, you were seen arguing with him.
Yeah, I argued with him. So what?
Well, let me tell you what concerns me. Preliminary autopsy report indicates that he had been poisoned. According to the hotel butler, you were the last one seen with him.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't do anything.
Lieutenant, if you got a point, I sure wish you'd make it.
I think Mr. Kingman took the opportunity to poison his champagne.
Oh, poison? Where would I get poison?
Where you got it from is not important. Where we found it is. We conducted a search of your room. And don't worry, Counsel, we obtained a warrant. Hidden inside of a chest case was a half-empty vial of some sort of a liquid. Now, Counsel, would you care to see the lab report on that? Mike, be good enough to show it to him?
Monocaine.
Monocaine. An overdose of which, according to the coroner, was enough to cause Adrian Lai's death. Mr. Kingman, I'm placing you under arrest for the murder of Adrian Lai.
I just spoke to Perry, and he insists you use the office.
I'll be glad to help any way I can.
We both will.
Well, you're both very generous. And I thank you. I've known Daniel Kingman a long time. If he says that he's innocent, then I believe him. But I'm sure going to need your help.
Morning, morning, morning.
Oh, you done with the crime scene, Lieutenant?
She's all yours. I got everything I need for a conviction. Got the poison, an eyewitness who states that no one else entered the room between the time he bought the caviar and Mr. Kingman's arrival.
And who sent the champagne?
The champagne was complimentary from the hotel, selected at random by the waiter. Have a nice day.
Well, let you and me get going. We'll see you, Della.
Listen, if you need me, I'll be at the office, okay?
Okay, yeah.
If I can.
Say, listen, tell me something. The people out here mean that when they say have a nice day. Gives me the shudders.
Whoever that was, it looked like he was wearing a waiter's jacket.
Wonder if he had time to find what he was looking for.
Maybe it's in one of these video cassettes.
Could be. Well, look here. Here's one with the initials DK on it.
Daniel Kingman.
Lieutenant Brock was so sure of himself, he might have missed something.
Rapaszymskiemu, aby ten przegrał ich mecz w leningradzkich zawodach. Pieniądze oni...
This guy sounds like he's speaking Polish.
Could be about Daniel. You suppose Della'd have time to go through these tapes? Maybe find a translator to help her?
Della can do anything. What's in there?
A lot of papers to go through. I'll ask Della to see if she can copy these. We've either struck fool's gold or the mother lode. Thank you. Daniel. Time for a little truth-telling, Daniel. Why did you agree to go on Adrian Lai's television show?
You blackmailed me, Bill.
How?
ratings were down. They were canceling his show.
Why didn't you call me? I would have helped you.
And I wish I had.
Yeah. Well, it's past. What do you have on you? Spit it out, Daniel, or I can't do anything for you.
Oh, what can I tell you, Bill?
The truth. You rigged your last match with the Polish champion, Raposinski, didn't you? Huh? I know this is hard for you, son, but you have to trust me.
And I was under incredible pressure. There's millions of dollars at stake, my whole reputation. My asthma attacks got worse. They were much closer together and much more severe. I couldn't concentrate for a game, let alone the 3 weeks it would take to play the match. I told Raposinski I was sick. But he insisted because he was heavily in debt, desperate for cash.
So, you paid him to lose, and then he turned around and sold the story to Adrian Lai. What did Lai want from you?
He wanted to be my promoter, get a piece of everything I earned.
Oh, boy.
I screwed up, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I won't say I'm not disappointed, Daniel, but I don't believe you killed anybody, and I'll do my best to prove you innocent. So buck up stout. Don't give out. You found anything on the tapes yet?
Slow going. Did you hear from Ken?
No, he's still at the hotel. So, if Adrian Lai was blackmailing Daniel, it might be he was blackmailing his other guests, too. Now, except for Daniel, all of them were out on the veranda with us watching the fireworks. So, if one of them was behind Lai's death, he or she had to hire somebody to do the dirty work. I suspect that person is the same one who broke into Lai's room.
Knight to Queen 4. I learned it from my father.
Oh.
When did you learn?
During the Korean War.
Oh.
From an ex-KGB agent. She could cook, too.
You're sure this is the right man, a very tall guy?
Oh, yes. He was hired temporarily for the opening. Here. Mr. Dugan? Mr. Dugan?
He's gone.
He was only hired for the weekend.
I guess he left early. You mind if I take a look around?
Not at all.
Thanks.
Hi. Can I help you?
Take off your clothes.
Excuse me.
Trust me. I don't do this with just any guy.
It's all right, I'm a lawyer.
Hello, Perry Mason's office. Ken, where have you been?
You don't want to know. Listen, Della, I need a trace on a John Dugan. Try Central Costume Supplies. He rented or bought a wig from there. They should have an address on him. That's right. Thanks, Della. I'll be in touch. It's your turn to slip into something less comfortable. Mr. Dugan doesn't leave much around, does he?
You're wasting your time.
How would you know? Okay. What's it gonna be? Are you gonna tell me what you're up to, or do I call my friend Lieutenant Brock, who'd love to charge you with breaking and entering?
Why not assault with a deadly weapon?
Now tell me who you are.
Laurel Crown.
Yeah, that wasn't so hard, was it? Now let's go for the big money. What do you want with John Dugan?
Plenty. He's my ex-husband.
Sharon Stewart. Thank you.
Miss Bishop?
Yes, I'll sign anything. Absolutely.
Well, now, this is worth something. Much obliged. I'm Bill McKenzie, Daniel Kingman's lawyer. I called you earlier about Adrian Lai. Can we speak privately?
Now, Mr. McKenzie?
Well, I don't like being intrusive, but we do have to talk sometime, here or in court. Well, you're busy. I'll see you.
No, wait just a moment, please. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Excuse me, everyone. I'll be right back. I promise. Let's go over here.
Thank you. So I was surprised you'd agreed to do the Adrian Lai show.
I'm starting a new movie. I need the publicity.
I think he needed you more. I mean, if he was worried about his show being canceled.
Yes, well, he was canceled, wasn't he? The hard way.
Yep, but not before he blackmailed some pretty famous people into going on his show. Did he have something on you, Miss Bishop?
Absolutely nothing. Mr. McKenzie, haven't you heard? Because of my triumph over my problem, I'm an absolute inspiration to drug addicts all over the world.
This movie, this your own true story?
Oh, yes, yes. There's degradation, despair, recovery, resurrection. It's positively biblical.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful story, ma'am. Is the recovery part true?
How dare you?
I remember you said that just that way in a movie called Dangerous Female. Wonderful movie. And you're a wonderful actress. You ever stop acting?
What is this? Why are you trying to insult me?
I'm sorry. But I've got to get to the truth about Adrian Lai, how he pried into people's lives and threatened them.
Look, let's just suppose that he went to this hospital where you say you were cured of your drug addiction. Let's say that he found a nurse there who said that you weren't cured at all, that in fact you left this hospital halfway through treatment because you couldn't stay away from drugs. Now, if this was true, he'd have your secret, wouldn't he?
That nurse lied. I don't take drugs.
Would you mind taking off your sunglasses, ma'am? Your pupils are dilated, Miss Bishop. Nurse told the truth.
All right. So Adrian found out about me. He pressured me into doing his show. But so what? What is a weekend out of my life?
Well, that wouldn't be the end of it. Next, he'd want to be your manager for life, wouldn't he?
Are you trying to say that I killed Adrian Lai? I was in public all evening. You saw me.
Yes, I did. I saw you. But whoever planned this homicide could have hired a professional to do the killing.
A professional? This conversation is over.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I thank you for your autograph, but you better keep this. It's a subpoena. I'll see you later, ma'am.
So you're after Dugan for back alimony?
You bet.
Did you go to the police?
Sure. And they told me they don't have the resources to track down deadbeat husbands. Can I please take down my arms now?
Yeah. How long were you two married?
5 years. 260 weeks worth of lies about what he did, what he made, who he slept with. He walked out of me 2 years ago with all our savings. Now, the court awarded me alimony, but I have to find him first. And I will. And I'll collect, no matter what it takes.
I believe you. Look, Laurel, you've done all the legwork. Why not let the police take it from here?
It's not a bad idea. Thanks.
Well, you won't be needing this. I'll call you when we find him.
Well, how can I thank you for helping me?
Give me a chance. I'll think of something.
Cut! We're late again. Back to number 1, guys.
Boy, the Almighty couldn't make a better entrance.
Well, he probably could if he had my special effects team. How are you?
Well, I'm scared.
Yeah, how about doing a little cameo in my film, Mr. Mackenzie, huh? Face has great character.
Oh, it's been used a long time. I wouldn't know what to do in a movie.
Come on now. Wild Bill Mackenzie? Man who walked into a bank with a live grenade and then walked out with the hostages. That's what I call performance.
That story's got a little fuzz on it. Directing a movie must take a whole lot of planning.
Yeah, it's like a war. Each shot is a battle.
Things ever go wrong?
It's my job to see they don't.
You know, it seems strange to me that with all this going on, you take time out for an Adrian Lai television show.
Well, Adrian was an early supporter of mine. I'm just returning the favor.
You sure he wasn't twisting your arm?
That sounds like the plot for a story, Mr. Mackenzie.
Well, their story is true. Wasn't an actor killed on your last film?
That actor's death was an accident.
Yes, that's what you said at the investigation. And your stunt coordinator backed you up, didn't he?
He was simply telling the truth.
Well, that's why I'm confused, because you see, I found a videotape in Adrian Lai's room, and on it, your stunt coordinator is telling Mr. Lai that you paid him to back up your story. That, in fact, you ordered him to ignore safety precautions during a stunt on that film because you were in a hurry. And the actor was killed.
He's lying.
Which way? For you or against you?
Adrian Lai didn't have anything on me.
Well, then why in the world would your production company make a series of large payments to him over the last 2 years?
would you know anything about that?
I've seen his bank statements. Either you lost a poker bet to the man or he was blackmailing you.
Let's cut to the chase here, Mr. Mackenzie, okay? I didn't murder Adrian Lai. Excuse me now. I got a movie I have to finish.
Beam me up, Scotty.
What's this? Another plot twist?
No, a subpoena. Real life is hard to direct, Mr. Cartwright.
Can I have beer, please?
Hey!
How'd you know he was here?
I found a couple of bar receipts in his apartment.
And of course you didn't tell me. Why go to all this trouble over a deadbeat ex-husband?
I told you, he owes me.
Well, you could have gotten us killed.
Well, now you're taking it personally.
Oh. Wait a second. I guess I owe you bail money. Should have gotten out of there before the bouncer had a chance to grab me.
We were trying to protect the lady. What happened, anyway?
I almost had my hands on John Dugan.
There is no John Dugan. The FBI file come up empty. So Miss Crown is our only link to him.
She makes a career out of lying to me.
Well, maybe you ought to let her cool her heels in the cell overnight, give you a chance to check on her.
Yeah.
Here, put this on.
Is this yours?
No, mine's home. This is a rental. Don't tell me you've never ridden on the back of a Harley.
Not yet. Well, it's a really nice day. I think maybe I'll walk.
It's a whole lot more fun than a bar fight.
I kept up my end of the deal, didn't I? No, I don't want to hear your problems. I get this lawyer chasing me. No, you listen. What's his name? Where can I find him? Mackenzie. I don't care how famous he is. Nobody breathes down my neck.
You don't seem surprised to see me.
Well, I had a feeling we'd meet again.
Need a lawyer? I'm a lawyer. Why don't you tell me the truth so I can get you out of this mess?
I've told you the truth.
Enjoy the accommodations.
Wait. Can you really get me out of here?
If you give me a reason.
Okay. I was never married to Dugan. And he doesn't owe me any money. In fact, his name's not Dugan, it's Martine. John Martine. He's a professional hitman.
Figured. But how do you know?
He killed my father.
Alex Crown, the newspaper publisher from Ohio.
Why did you ask if you already knew?
See if you tell me the truth this time.
What else do you know?
Your father died after doing a series of exposés on corruption in the construction business. Rumor was he named too many names.
You know what it's like to get a call telling you that your father has been dredged up from the bottom of a river. And then that's it. No arrests, no follow-through. Unsolved.
So you decided to track down the killer yourself?
I've spent my last dime paying private detectives to find out who did the hit. And then find Martine.
And the last detective you hired tipped you off that he'd be at the Norwich?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you out of here on one condition. You promise to back off and let me find him. Deal?
You know, we might actually make some money on this deal if we can survive the legal fees. I want you to call Mr. Butler. Tell him I want to set up a conference call for Monday. Yeah. I'll try to be back at the office by 3, maybe. Mr. McKenzie?
Well, yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate your squeezing me into your schedule.
Not at all. I believe you did some work for my husband once.
Yeah, a small matter years ago. I was very sorry to hear about his illness.
Well, it's been almost 3 years since David's stroke. You wouldn't recognize him now. In spite of the best medical care, his condition has steadily deteriorated.
Well, that must be very hard on you.
It's true what they say, Mr. McKenzie. You can buy anything in the world except good health.
So now you're taking over his basketball franchise.
David's idea. I love basketball and the team and running it.
Well, I hear you're good at it. One hell of a negotiator.
I try, Mr. McKenzie.
Too bad you couldn't negotiate with Adrian Lai.
Adrian? What does he have that I would possibly want?
Those deal memos he had somebody steal out of your office.
Well, you must be mistaken, Mr. McKenzie. I'm not missing any deal memos.
Well, these deal memos that you say aren't missing would have given Adrian Lai all he needed to blackmail you, ma'am.
Standard player deal?
No. Those under-the-table deals you made with star basketball players for salaries and perks way beyond what the league allows. I think it cost you huge fines, suspension, maybe even the loss of your team, if he exposed you. Am I getting warm here?
How do you like basketball, Mr. McKenzie? Would you like to be involved with our basketball team?
Are you tempting me, ma'am?
Give me that envelope.
Oh, no, I don't think I should do that.
I can make it worth your while.
Oh, I'll bet you could. I'll bet that's what you said to Adrian Lai when you tried to buy back these deal memos from him. But he wouldn't sell them, would he? Boy, that must have made you hopping mad.
I'm glad Adrian Lai is dead. But I am not the kind of person who would kill somebody.
Well, I surely hope not, ma'am. You might as well have this.
This is a subpoena. You're a liar, Mr. McKenzie.
Did I say the deal memos were in there? I'll see you in court, ma'am.
Look, Ken, I owe you a favor. The private eye who told me where Martine was tracked him to his cousin who lives here. He owns a body shop. I didn't know whether I was going to tell you or not, but hey, I'm a sucker for an honest face. Maybe you have better luck than I did.
Thanks. I'll be in touch.
Good morning. Beautiful day.
Brandy and soda. For God's sake, no ice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a waiter. I'm Bill McKenzie. I'm representing Daniel Kingman in the Adrian Lai murder case.
I don't talk to lawyers.
Oh, don't be a bore, Albert. Sit down, Mr. Mackenzie.
Much obliged.
I read about you in Paris, Mr. Mackenzie. You did it, didn't you?
I might have. What did I do?
You killed a man in self-defense, and there was a woman involved, an heiress. Or was she a trapeze artist?
Little of both, as I remember.
Liza, that is enough. I'm sorry that Mr. Kingman killed Adrian Lai, but since we don't know Mr. Kingman and barely knew Lai, we can't help you.
Well, may I ask why you agreed to go on his television show?
A lark, a whimsy. Surely you know that we, European royalty, are so bored with our lives and ourselves. We'll do almost anything to break the monotony.
Well, no, sir, I didn't know that. See, I live on a ranch out in Utah. We don't hear much about royalty out there. About the only blue blood I've ever been close to besides you folks is a bull named Charlie Joe, and I had to pay through the nose for him.
Mr. Mackenzie, what is your point?
Well, my point is I didn't know anything about you folks, so I had to do some research. Now, I have to say it. You royalty really do get around.
Oh, I hate this picture. It makes me look so fat.
And he had an investigative report, which I found in his room. It shows that you are deeply in debt to casinos all over Europe. It has dates here, copies of your markers, amounts, and more. He had a videotape that showed your wife, well, let's say carrying on with a man who definitely isn't you.
He knows.
Eliza. Go on.
Adrian Lai knew that your family threatened to cut you off financially if there's any more scandal. Wasn't he blackmailing you, sir?
You're asking me if I killed him. We don't murder people, Mr. Mackenzie. We cut them dead, socially, and they kill themselves.
Maybe Mr. Lai didn't want to kill himself, not being royalty. He didn't play by your rules. Maybe you had to stop him. Now, I'm just going to give you one more piece of reading matter. It's a subpoena. Ma'am, I'll see you folks later.
I want you out of sight. Immediately. Go visit your mother in Omaha.
Thanks, Stella. I'm just pulling into the parking garage. I'll be up in a second.
I got a message for your friend Mackenzie.
Sure, I want to hear it.
I said, I have a message for Mackenzie.
Then deliver it personally.
Back off!
Look up there. Those elevator doors are going to open, and a couple of security guards are going to come out with their guns drawn.
Security doesn't know we're here. You're bluffing.
Want to bet?
Later, Mackenzie.
You okay?
I will be.
Quick, get in.
No guards. What if he called your bluff?
Bluff? Who's bluffing? Those security guards are supposed to be on this elevator. Whew. Boy, that was close.
Lieutenant Brock, I have here People's Exhibit number 7, and I'd like to ask you if you can identify it for us, please.
That is a champagne glass which was located a few inches away from the decedent's right hand. I recognize it because of the crack and stamp right about there.
Right. Thank you very much. Now I show you People's Exhibit 8 and ask if you can identify it.
That is a champagne bottle which was found on the floor in the decedent's suite. I recognize it because it has my mark on it.
Thank you. Was the bottle open?
Yes, it was.
And was it empty?
No, it had some liquid in it.
Did you secure the bottle and send the contents to the lab for analysis?
Yes, I did.
Thank you, Lieutenant. One more to go. Last, I show you People's Exhibit 9 and ask once more if you can identify it.
That is a pharmaceutical vial which was found in the defendant's possession.
Where in the defendant's room did you find this vial?
I found it hidden under a piece of felt in a chess case.
Was there anything in the vial when you found it?
Well, indeed there was. It was half full of a clear liquid which we sent to the lab to be analyzed.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Mr. Mackenzie?
No questions at this time, Your Honor.
We ran standard lab tests on the glass, the bottle, and the vial found in the defendant's hotel room. All three were positive for the chemical known as monocaine.
Now, Dr. Lee, monocaine is generally used for what purpose?
Monocaine is a new medication used in small doses for treating asthma attacks.
And in larger doses?
In larger doses, it's extremely toxic to human beings, capable of causing death within 10 minutes or less, depending on the dose and the individual.
How much monocaine was found in Mr. Lye's body?
In layman's terms?
Mm-hmm.
Enough to kill an elephant.
Now, Mr. Finnegan, in your statement to the police, you indicated that the defendant, Mr. Kingman, entered Mr. Lye's room at about 9 o'clock. What time did he leave?
It couldn't have been any more than 15 minutes later.
Uh-huh. Did anybody else enter the room before or after the defendant?
No, sir.
When the defendant left, did you notice anything unusual about his emotional state?
Oh, yes, he was very upset. He told Mr. Lye that he hoped he'd rot in, you know.
No, I don't, sir. We don't know anything unless you tell us. His exact words, please, if you can recall.
He said, "I hope you rot in hell."
Thank you. Your witness?
No questions at this time, but I reserve the right to recall this witness.
The witness is excused.
Your Honor, the prosecution rests.
Is the defense ready?
We are, Your Honor.
We'll take a brief recess. The court will reconvene in 30 minutes. You the owner?
Name's Ringwald. Can I help you?
Depends on whether or not you believe the customer's always right.
Depends on who the customer is. What's the problem?
That lady ran into me. Bender. I need an estimate on the damages.
Huh? I don't see any damage.
Well, look again. A couple $1,000, we both come out ahead.
Frame's bent, $2,200.
Can you write that up? I tell you, the way people drive these days, you need eyes in the back of your head.
Yep. Here it is.
Oh.
Something wrong?
Well, this is a false estimate. This is illegal.
Who the hell are you?
My name's Molansky. I'm looking for John Martine.
I don't know anyone named Martine.
You could go to jail for this.
Okay. This is an address where Martine's at sometimes. It's the best I can do.
Thanks. We'll keep this our little secret. Della, it's Ken. Listen, I got something for you.
A few minutes ago, you stated that you were on duty the whole evening. Am I right, Mr. Finnegan?
The hotel provides special butler service for the guests in the luxury suites.
And you're dead certain that the only person to show up outside Adrian Ly's room that night before the murder was the defendant, Mr. Kingman?
Absolutely.
Except for the waiter who brought up the champagne.
Well, yes.
Well, isn't that interesting? I suppose that when the police took your statement, you assumed that visitors to the room did not include anyone on the hotel staff.
That's right.
Well, then we've all learned an important lesson here. Never assume. What time did this waiter go to Mr. Ly's room?
A few minutes before Mr. Kingman arrived.
What did he look like?
He was a tall man. That's all I remember.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Finnegan. No more questions.
Mr. Johnson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, weren't you supposed to be Adrian Ly's room service waiter the night he was killed?
I was assigned to the whole floor.
Will you tell us what happened that night at approximately 8:45?
I was on duty, but it was quiet because the fireworks had started, and almost all of the guests were outside watching them. And then this man came in with a bottle of wine, and he sort of convinced me to take the bottle and watch the fireworks with my friends.
So, this smooth talker convinced you it was okay to leave your post?
Yeah.
Did you select a complimentary bottle of champagne from Mr. Ly?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever get up to Mr. Ly's room that night?
No, I didn't, no.
This man who persuaded you to leave your post, how big a man was he?
He was big, you know. He was a tall man.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. No further questions.
Your Honor, the state requests about an hour's recess. A new witness has come forward, and it may be necessary for the people to reopen their case in chief. The man's name is Dr. Gregory Estes.
Very well, the court will recess for 1 hour.
What's up?
I'll let you know when I know.
Bill, excuse me. It's from Ken. It's important.
Okay. You check up on Estes, right?
Right.
You alive?
I think so.
Della said you might be messing around in here. You're quite a cat.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Mackenzie, would you approach the bench, please? Mr. Johnson, what's going on here?
Well, Your Honor, I had no idea that this witness, Dr. Estes, was going to appear before he did.
Well, I see no reason to admit this witness. Mr. Mackenzie?
Well, man comes forward. Maybe we ought to hear what he has to say.
You have no objection?
Oh, I suppose I should say the defense only cares that justice be served, but plain fact is, I'm curious.
Call your witness.
You surprised me.
Why? I like a good story as well as the next man. I bet we're going to get one. Take your time, Counselor. I'll just sit over here and watch.
Dr. Estes, would you mind telling the court why you've decided to step forward at this time?
I had to. I have personal knowledge of the defendant that I feel might be important.
Well, why didn't you come forward sooner?
Well, for the past week, I've been on a fishing trip in Idaho. When I got back, I read an account of the murder and immediately contacted your office.
Can you tell us why?
The newspaper said that the victim was poisoned with monocaine. I prescribed monocaine for Daniel Kingman.
That's not true. I have never seen him before.
Mr. Mackenzie?
Don't embarrass yourself. My client apologizes, Your Honor.
I'm telling you, Bill, I have never...
I said simmer down. My apologies, sir.
So, Dr. Estes, are you the defendant's physician?
No. But about 2 weeks ago, I was having dinner at the Morris Hotel, where Mr. Kingman was a guest. I was sitting at a table next to his when he was suffering an asthma attack.
Did he ask you for assistance?
No, he didn't know I'm a doctor. But I saw he was having difficulty breathing, so I approached him and offered to help.
Doctor, what qualifies you to treat asthma?
For the past 20 years, I've had a medical practice in Los Angeles. I'm a graduate of Yale Medical School and a past president of the Pacific Western Medical Association and a fellow of the National Board of Allergists. I could go on.
That's enough, Doctor. Continue, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Dr. Estes, did Mr. Kingman accept your offer of help?
Oh, yes, yes. I helped him to his room, and then I went to my room and returned with a medication.
What kind of medication was it?
Monocaine, which I injected into his right arm.
And what happened after you injected him?
Well, within 10 minutes, the attack subsided. Mr. Kingman thanked me and inquired about the medication.
What kind of inquiry was it?
Mr. Kingman explained he was a stranger in Los Angeles. He didn't know any doctors, and he was suffering from severe asthma. So he asked me to give him more monocaine, and foolishly I did.
Are you saying that you injected Mr. Kingman with more Monocaine?
Oh, no. I gave him extra Monocaine to use for future attacks.
How much Monocaine did you give him?
All the samples I had with me, 10 or 12 doses.
10 or 12 doses. Now, would that many doses be enough to have killed Adrian Lai?
Objection, Your Honor. There is no foundation for this. It assumes facts not in evidence and calls for speculation.
Objection sustained on those grounds.
That's fine. I'll rephrase it. Would a dozen doses of Monocaine be considered toxic?
At that concentration, even less.
Thank you, Doctor. Oh, one more question. These samples you gave Mr. Kingman, were they capsules or...
Witnesses excused. Mr. McKenzie?
I called Daniel Kingman to the stand. Now tell us, Daniel, have you ever met Dr. Estes before?
I swear I've never seen him outside this courtroom.
Did Dr. Estes ever give you any form of Monocaine?
Never.
But you do suffer from asthma, don't you?
Yes, since childhood.
Will you roll up your left sleeve, please? Your Honor, this syringe will contain the medically approved dosage of Monocaine, the same dosage that Dr. Estes says he injected into Mr. Kingman the night he claims to have met him in the hotel. I would like to request Dr. Estes to inject Mr. Kingman with the Monocaine now.
Objection! Your Honor, defense must be joking.
No, I'm dead serious. The prosecution is basing its case on Dr. Estes' testimony. My client has demanded this demonstration, and I feel obliged to comply.
Objection overruled. Dr. Estes, please. Dr. Estes, would you please administer the medication?
Is this precisely how you injected Mr. Kingman at the hotel?
Yes, it is.
How quickly does the monocaine take effect?
Almost immediately.
Bill! Your Honor, Mr. Kingman is now, at his own request, suffering a severe allergic reaction to monocaine. Dr. Estes, this is diloxin, which I believe is the clinically correct anti-allergen for monocaine. You okay, Daniel? Good man. Demonstration's over. No further questions.
Prosecution has no questions at this time.
Well, then the court is adjourned until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Nice going, Daniel. You hung Dr. Estes out to dry.
Another long day.
Oh, yes.
You ready for dinner?
No. I think I'll go back to the warehouse. Maybe Martine left something behind.
You be careful, Bill.
Yeah, well, look, if you need me tonight, I'll be at this number, all right?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll see you in the morning.
Fine.
Martine, I've been waiting for you.
In a hurry to die?
No, and you shouldn't be either. You don't want to do that. The police SWAT team has got this place surrounded by now.
Sure.
Just listen a minute. You're no good to me dead, Martine. You can identify the person who hired you to kill Adrian Lai.
You're dreaming, Mackenzie. You get my testimony. I get the gas chamber.
Oh, it's a long way to the gas chamber. At least you'll walk out of here alive.
This time, I'm not folding, Mackenzie.
You gonna bet your life?
Give it up, Martine!
Damn fool could have lived.
Counselor, I had to have been out of my cotton picking mind to let you go chasing after this guy alone.
Who said I'm alone?
This is everything Martine had on him.
Whatever happened to Laurel Crown?
I don't know. I haven't seen her.
Pretty girl.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Doesn't look like Martine left us much to go on, huh?
No, he sure didn't. With you back in court tomorrow morning, if we don't get ourselves a break, Daniel is going to be in a bad way. Now, take a look at that.
What do you make of it?
Well, I'm not sure. I think we ought to find out more about these little ladies. Mrs. Archer, may I ask you why you took over running the basketball team owned by your husband?
My husband suffered a stroke, and ever since then, he's been incapacitated.
So you not only run the basketball team, but you also look after a sick husband?
Yes, I do.
Can't be easy. Were you with your husband when he suffered the stroke?
Objection. Your Honor, I don't see the relevance.
Your Honor, if you'll give me a minute, we'll get there.
I suspect you'll take more than a minute, but go on.
Thank you, sir.
Were you with your husband when he suffered the stroke?
Yes, David and I were in San Francisco for the weekend when he was taken ill.
Will you describe in detail, please, what happened?
The hotel sent a doctor who accompanied David to the hospital.
This hotel doctor, had you ever met him before?
No, we'd never been to that particular hotel before.
Well, that was the San Francisco Rexford, wasn't it?
How do you know things like that?
Well, it's my job to know things like that. Mrs. Archer, this is Mr. Phil Carpenter, the manager of the San Francisco Rexford. He is prepared to testify that on the night you and your husband were guests at his hotel, you did call the front desk, but not to ask for a doctor. He will testify that you told him you'd already called a doctor who had determined that your husband had had a stroke. You asked Mr. Carpenter to call an ambulance to transport your husband to the hospital. Do you remember that?
What difference does it make who called the doctor?
Well, usually no difference at all. But Mr. Carpenter will also testify that the doctor who accompanied you and your husband out of his hotel was Dr. Estes, who just happened to be in San Francisco. Is that true, Mrs. Archer? Did you call Dr. Estes?
Yes, I suppose maybe I did.
Well, thank you, Mr. Carpenter. You may sit down. Now, you have stated that your husband is incapacitated. Is he in a hospital here in Los Angeles?
No, he's in the Whitman Extended Care Facility in San Francisco.
And who is his attending physician?
I think you already know that it's Dr. Estes.
Yes, I do. It turns out that Dr. Estes, who says he only practices in Los Angeles, also attends your husband in San Francisco. Can you tell us, please, what treatment Dr. Estes has prescribed for your husband?
Whatever treatment would be appropriate for a stroke victim.
Mrs. Archer, this is Arlene Moore, the supervising nurse at the Whitman Extended Care Facility. She is prepared to testify that the treatment prescribed by Dr. Estes consists solely of having your husband injected with a strong sedative every 4 hours around the clock. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not. I'm not a doctor.
You know what I think, Mrs. Archer? I don't think your husband had a severe stroke. I think maybe he had a minor one, if at all, and that you and your good friend, Dr. Estes, have conspired to incapacitate your husband with drugs so that you could take over his enterprises.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevancy assumes facts, not an evidence. That wasn't even a question.
Sustained.
Well, that's a matter the authorities can look into later. You and Dr. Estes are more than friends, aren't you? Isn't it true that you are lovers who have been meeting at this hotel on a regular basis for the past 6 months?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There are room service waiters and other employees who can identify you, Mrs. Archer. Aren't you and Dr. Estes lovers?
Yes. But that's not the point, is it? I mean, it isn't relevant. I can account for my whereabouts when Adrian Lai was murdered.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Do you recognize this photograph?
No. Well, I've never seen it before.
Will you please describe what you see in this photograph?
It looks like a school picture. The little girls all have on uniforms. It's probably a private school.
Your Honor, defense would like to introduce this photograph as Defense Exhibit K. It is, in fact, a class photo from the St. Regis Academy here in town. Are you familiar with the St. Regis Academy?
I've heard of St. Regis. I think it's a Catholic school. That's about all I know.
Well, I think the school is more than a name to you, Mrs. Archer. You've donated money to it, haven't you?
Mr. Mackenzie, my husband and I have donated literally millions of dollars to various schools and causes. I cannot be expected to remember all of them.
Have you ever heard of John Martin?
No.
Yesterday, Mr. Rodriguez, the room service waiter, identified the corpse of John Martin as the same man who who delivered the bottle of champagne disguised as a waiter. John Martine had this photograph in his wallet when he was shot by the police. I show you for identification. These are records of charitable contributions to the St. Regis Academy over the last 6 months and authenticated by the school's accountant, Sister Mary Marshall. Would you please read this part that I've highlighted?
3 equal payments to the school have been made by Mrs. Archer in the past 3 months. The payments have totaled $60,000.
Now, these payments were placed in a trust account for a certain student at the school, weren't they?
I have no idea.
Wasn't the allocation to a specific student part of your arrangement with John Martine?
I've told you I don't know anybody named John Martine.
These are copies of the last 3 checks written from your personal account to St. Regis Academy. This is your handwriting, isn't it?
It looks like it.
Do you see what you've written right down here in the corner? To be deposited in trust to Teresa Martine. Isn't that what it says?
Yes.
You wrote these checks yourself as partial payment to John Martine for murdering Adrian Lai. Mr. Lai knew only one of your secrets, the illegal contracts with basketball players. But you were afraid he might find out a more damning secret. Your relationship with Dr. Estes and your conspiracy against your husband. And that's why you killed him. Don't you think it's about time for the truth, Mrs. Archer?
Adrian Lai was evil, you know. When he wasn't blackmailing people for money, he was exposing their secrets just for the pleasure of destroying their lives. I had no choice. I had to have him stopped. And I haven't really been sorry for it. Until now.
Your Honor?
Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor,